Hello, welcome. It's Phil in the Digital DJ Tips studio with a Thursday Q&A live. It actually does seem like quite a while since we've done one of these for one reason or another. I was quite nervous pressing go live today, thinking, have I got everything ready? I think I have. I think we're good to go. We're having a completely ad hoc open house AMA session today. So wherever you're watching us today on YouTube, Twitch, on Facebook, on Twitter even, just ask away, ask your questions, anything that we can help you with as the world's leading online DJ school in your DJing, just ask and we'll do our very, very best to help. As you can see, I'm in the studio with everything here. So your problems might be to do with the gear, might be to do with music, might be to do with getting gigs or live streaming or making mixtapes, whatever it is you want help with, ask and I'll do my best to help, and I'll pick my favorite questions. As always, we just have a couple of house rules wherever they're gone. Keep calm. This is DJing. This is not world politics. You know, we do this for fun. And please only ask once. If you are finding that your question is not getting answered, it's because there's a lot of people on these live shows. By the way, if you do like this stuff, all of our students get to join private sessions like this where every question gets answered. So think about getting a course from us. We are, as I say, the biggest online DJ school in the world. Our complete DJ course is the one where most people start. So if you are returning to this game, if you're getting into digital for the first time, or you just feel like you're stuck in a rut, do come and take a look at the complete DJ course, the original and best. It's helped tens of thousands of students to up their game. But we've got many more. We work with Jazzy Jeff and James Hype and Layback Luke and lots of other great talent. So do take a look at our courses page. If you like. Right, anyway, this is all about you here now, free, just me in the studio and your questions. I want to start off though with a question that a few of you have asked on our socials this week. We've kind of held off talking about this because out of context, you know, with a little short here or there, it might have looked a bit misogynistic or it might look like us poking like this. But now that we're able to talk properly about it, I do want to talk about it because a lot of people noticed Grimes at Coachella and the fact that her DJ set went horribly, horribly wrong. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I really, really felt for her. I have nightmares about things like that, literally nightmares. And I stopped DJing professionally long enough ago for you to think that might have gone away, but it hasn't. You know, it's the worst nightmare for any DJ. You press a button and something goes wrong and you don't know how to get out of it. So if you haven't seen it and you go and take a look on YouTube, it's there. She basically hits sync on a track and it plays at twice the speed that it should play at, up to about 360 beats per minute or something, which obviously is going to sound horrible, and you can't easily get out of it when you're using record box on CDJs, which she was using. So yeah, she had a problem there and got stuck. And yeah, it was cringe stuff, and I did feel extremely sorry for her watching that. So a few people have said, you know, what went wrong and what could she have done differently? Well, what went wrong? It's kind of not really a bug, but it's something you need to know about with the sync button and DJ software. And in rekordbox, one of the things that can happen is that when let's say you have a hip hop track, which is about 90 BPM, and you have a drum and bass track, let's say it's at 185 BPM, right? So they will mix really well together if you just increase the speed of the hip hop track by like 2 BPMs to 92.5, because it's exactly half of 185. So that, you know, half double BPMs work really well. So that is really what you want to happen. But unfortunately, it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it'll say, no, I'm going to speed that up by, you know, 101% to get it up to 180 BPM. And obviously it's going to sound horrible. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know what tracks she had lined up, but having watched it, it's clear to me that's what had gone wrong. And so the problem here is not knowing that's going to happen and having not practiced, then you don't want it happening live in front of lots of other people. What I took away from that was three things actually. One, DJing is hard. Anyone who says, oh, you know, you're just pushing buttons, that's easy, I could do that. Well, I think you should say to them, go on then, take your headphones off, pass them over, go on then, you do it. Because we all know DJing is not easy and the tools are there to help us, but the job of DJing, the 5 big areas, understanding the gear, obviously that's where Grimes fell down a little bit. The music, getting the music right, well, if the music had been right, then that button wouldn't have gone wrong. She'd have known what was going on. The techniques, the mixing itself, well, she tripped up there as well. So 3 of the big 5 areas of DJing she tripped up on. Performing, These are our 5 areas of DJing as shown in our book, Rock the Dance Floor, by the way. Performing. Well, when you're performing and things go wrong, you need to know what to do. You can't just stop the music, turn the microphone on and blabber, which is unfortunately what happened to her. So the 5th area of DJing is what we call success, and it's what comes after the first 4. So really, the poor girl kind of fell down in all the first 4 big areas of DJing. By the way, if you want to read more about these, they're in this book, and you can get this for free on the Digital DJ Tips website. Just head there and click at the top of the page. Oh, there's me chatting away without my beard. You can get them on the Digital DJ Tips website. Just head there and go to the book there at the top, and grab a copy of the book or read it live in there without doing anything else. We talk at length about those 5 areas of DJing here. They're also the basis of the course I was just talking about. So yeah, she kind of fell down in those areas. And if you're not up to speed in all those areas, you're going to struggle, unfortunately. It's not just about being able to mix or knowing what songs you want to play or understanding the piece of DJ gear in front of you, but not really any more about how DJing is done, or knowing about what can go wrong when you're performing and what you're going to do next. You know, you need all these areas in order to be successful and to avoid bad things happening. So I think DJing isn't easy, and so learning it's not easy, and anyone who says so hasn't tried it. The second thing I have to say, it's an old British Army saying, the 7 Ps, right? And I'm going to do a particularly British version of mild swearing now. It's something like preparation and practice prevents piss poor performance. And I think that was only 6 Ps, but you get what I'm saying. You really have to prepare. You know, Grimes is a very well practiced performer, right? She hasn't got anything to prove. But DJing isn't performing. I'll bring you back to the first point. DJing is hard. And I guess the third point, I've touched on it. What is your plan B? You should always, always, always have a plan B. One way we teach here at Digital DJ Tips, when we're talking about nerves and confidence and getting over that, you know, that horrible feeling before you start playing your first song in a DJ set, is what are you going to do if it goes wrong? What's the next thing that happens if it goes wrong? Now, she had a button to press and a channel to push up that had put a pre-recorded section on. At the second that track went too fast, she could have done that. A few people might have noticed a little glitch, and then she could have ducked her head down, said to a technician, what's going on here, got it sorted out, and been back up and running, possibly at least. So yeah, a few things went wrong there. I didn't want to poke fun. I didn't want to jump in straight away and talk about that, and certainly didn't want to appear like I was, you know, diving in and making clickbait at someone else's expense. So we left it a little while to talk about it, but we did think it was worth it because a few people were asking. And so the one thing I don't think she did wrong, and if you think so, then frankly, I think you need to drag yourself out of the 1990s, is, you know, oh, she wasn't manually beat mixing everything, so she's not a real DJ. There's 2 different things there. You can be a real DJ and not manually beat mix everything. Take it from me. So yeah, there is that crosses over, but that's not what was going on there. Right, people, your questions are coming in thick and fast. I know that because we have a live feed here. It's all very exciting in this studio. So thank you for that. And I will be getting to you very quickly. But I did want to talk about a couple of things that have been happening in the DJ world this last week. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that Twitch looks like it's finally going legal for DJ live streaming. Everyone streams on Twitch. No one goes to Mixcloud, even though, of course, they are the only truly legal platform, and we admire them for that. But no one goes there. If you want to get your name out there, get your mixes out there, get everything going in your DJing as far as live streaming goes, you have to be on Twitch. And it's always been, at the very best, a grey area, at the very, very best. And that's why your Twitch live streams get taken down instantly as far as the recordings go. They get muted and everything as soon as you finish. But Twitch has always tolerated you doing it, which is why everyone goes there. Well, it turns out that they have been allegedly paying the record labels quietly in the background in order for them to tolerate it, because they've promised a deal down the line. Well, it looks like that deal is coming. And to quote Twitch's CEO, we're going to have a structure where we are going to have to share money with the labels. It doesn't come for free. We're going to split whatever the cost is. So DJs who are monetizing their streams will end up paying some of that money to the record labels, but it will, by the look of it, go legal very soon. And if Twitch goes legal with DJ live streaming, it's going to be game, set and match, because everything else about the platform really works for DJs. It's very, very popular, but that's obviously always been a sticking point. So there we go. If you're watching us on Twitch now, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. But it looks like quite an exciting time. A really, really, really big platform might have just cracked DJ live streaming. Anyway, so that's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to tell you about was this. So again, this is on the latest page on the Digital DJ Tips website. We have been talking about wireless DJ speaker systems, and there's a few options out there. But Alpha Theta, who make this system here, the Wave 8, have kindly paired up with us and given us a pair of these speakers worth $1,800 to give away. And all you've got to do, if you want to have a chance of winning them, is go to this URL, djtips.co, djtips.co/win. Couldn't be easier, djtips.co/win. Let's do it together now. I'll show you what happens and I'll show you what you got to do. djtips.co/win. You're going to go to this page here, you're going to stick your email address in, and you're going to be entered into our free draw. On the 26th of April, we are going to announce the winner by email, and then it's going to be in a post on our website and in a Tuesday Tips email newsletter from Digital DJ Tips the following Tuesday. Good luck entering that competition. It's open to everyone. Okay. That's the housekeeping I had to do and the big kind of breaking news story in DJ tech that we had to cover today. I'm going to move my computer in now, and as I said, it's any questions from here on in. I'm literally here to help you with whatever you need help with, and there's lots and lots and lots of questions coming in thick and fast. This is from Richard, who says, we still cannot deny the importance of knowing how to manually beat mix. While I understand that technology can be unreliable at times, I still think that had she properly prepared and rehearsed her set, and of course employing the old standard of knowing how to manually beat mix, a lot of what transpired could have been avoided. Yes, I know what you're saying there, Richard. Funnily enough, we are currently in the middle of remaking our complete DJ course, the original and best. And this course is the one that's helped so many DJs start. I'm on about lesson 30 of it now. It's going to be about a 50 lesson course. The lesson I was recording literally today was manual beat mixing. We were talking about counting beats and bars and musical phrases. I literally was doing it 5 minutes before going live with this show. And so yes, the way we teach is it's really important to understand manual beat mixing, what it means, what tempo matching means, what tempo means when you're lining up two sets of two tracks at the same tempo, so we call that tempo matching, and then what beat matching means when you line up the beats and then the musical phrases as well, because music is not just beats, it's bars and phrases as well. Yes, it's very important, but the trap, if you're a new DJ, is to think you need to be perfect at that before you move on, and you really, really don't nowadays. You need to understand it, you need to know what's going on, and you need to know what's going wrong if your DJ equipment doesn't get it right, but you don't need to be Carl Cox in order to be performing in public. The tools are there for a reason. They're there to help you DJ. And another thing I would say is, just because you can beat mix manually, it doesn't mean you are any good at DJing, because they're two completely separate things. They really, really are. And so just a bit of a proviso there. DJing manually using no extra tools like sync and visual BPM counters and stuff is great, but it doesn't mean you're any better a DJ than someone who doesn't habitually do that. But I totally agree with Richard. You should know this. You should definitely know this. Right, so let's carry on. Now actually, yeah, what's that book in front of you? It's a good question. Thank you for it. This book here came out today because I was doing that lesson. This is the DJ's Handbook from Roy Shepard. This was published in 1986. Now imagine me as a 16-year-old with this book, lying on my bed at home, devouring literally every word in it and thinking one day I'm going to be a DJ. And actually there's a passage in this book that I read out on the lesson that I filmed today for our forthcoming second edition of our complete DJ course. I actually read this passage out. I'll read it to you now because it just shows how books can date. So this is what the passage says. It says, if a DJ is very skilled, there you go, it's dated already, he can play or run both records simultaneously for some time before fading one of them out. Performed properly, it is difficult, if not impossible, to tell when one record ends and another begins. But Bad mixes are noticed very easily. Rory, those words haunted me for years, and I knew one day, I'd be able to do what you were describing there. And of course, what he's describing there is beat mixing. And it took over the world literally 18 months after that book was written. So the point I'm making here is that book is out of date. Now, our book is not that out of date. Our book came out 6 years ago, but that's quite a long time in DJing. DJ years are like dog years. And when you look at how much the gear moves on and so on, DJ years do tend to move a little bit faster than normal years. And our book is now gracefully getting old, a bit like its author. However, unlike its author, I can do something about this. So there is a brand new version of this book coming out, and it's really, really exciting because we got sent the final, so the book publishers work in kind of stages, and you've got to, if you're a bit disorganized and a bit all over the place like I am, like, oh, let's just do it, let's just do stuff. It can be a little bit like, oh, working with publishers, but they've taken us carefully through every stage. We've had to submit documents with corrections on, and then it goes to the typesetter, and the typesetter sends a proof back, and then this happens and this happens. We've got the final internal proof, which means a version that you check, of this book, exactly how it's going to appear. It arrived in our email inbox today here at the company, and we've all been checking through it. We spotted 1 or 2 tiny errors. I called it open broadcast software, not open broadcaster software. I spotted that one. A couple of commas out of place, a couple of URLs that were a bit longer than they had to be and stuff. And we've sent all that back to them, and it's now being typeset. And that means that we will have a finished version of this very, very soon, and we'll get our test copies of the new version of our book, and then we can record the audio book, we can prepare the Kindle, we can prepare it for print, so you'll be able to order it. We'll let you know when this is coming, but it's very, very exciting because the version 2 of this book, I mean, version 1 has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reviews on Amazon. It's done really, really well over the last 6 years, but it is a bit out of date. So the new version is coming this summer, June, I think, early June, end of May. We will let you know. We'll keep you informed as we get closer, but I'm really excited about it. It's good to update it. And the course I'm filming at the moment, the complete DJ course that I've been filming all year, is based on the new version of the book. It's completely up to date. It's got live streaming in it. It's got key mixing in it. It's got stems in it. It's got all the stuff that wasn't even around 6 years ago, pre-lockdown and pre all that, when no one really knew what live streaming was, etc., etc. So it's completely up to date. I'm very excited about that. So that's why I had these out. Thank you, whoever it was who asked there. I missed that. Right, okay. Your questions. I'm here for you, people. Whatever you need help with, you just ask away, and I'm going to grab the best comments live. So this is from Fidel, who just says, I love your videos. I'm a radio DJ from Texas. Good morning. So good morning to you as well. This one is from RuneScape, who says, I'm just starting out. I bought a starter deck and I've been playing with it for about a month. I want to make trance, and have you got any tips? So, well, if you want to make trance, then it's a bit different to playing it. So I think you probably mean you want to DJ with trance. I would say the thing with trance or melodic techno, those longer songs, is that you definitely have to learn about the phrasing. So in that kind of music, the phrasing, which is the chunks of music that are bigger than a bar. So a bar of music is 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count any dance record in that way. But the phrases are bigger. So the way we count phrases is the first number in that 1, 2, 3, 4, we go up every time. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. And at 4, we can go back to 1, which works for pop music and modern commercial music. But for trance, we tend to go up to 8 because things happen in chunks of 8 bars. And so a bar of music is 4 beats, and that's a way of counting 8 sets of 4 beats. That number goes up to 8, then we reset. And what you'll find is that the big things happen on the 1. Every 8 bars, we get back to that number 1, and big things happen. The strings will come in, the drop will start, the breakdown will start. Stuff arrives, leaves, or changes on those 1 beats. So when you're mixing, 1, identify those 1 beats in the track you're bringing in, have your cue points on them, and 2, line them up with the same beats, the same one beat at the beginning of a musical phrase on the track you're mixing out of. And that'll allow you to do, and of course use the sync button, that'll allow you to do really big, long beat mixes and experiment with dropping out the bass and swapping from one track to another and so on, and getting them in the same key and all the things you can do. It's all underpinned by the counting and timing of those, in trance, melodic techno, generally 8-bar sections. So there's a bit of advice for you there to get you started. We've got a lot of mixing courses, of course, at Digital DJ Tips. And if what I just said in itself sounded a little bit advanced for you watching this, then definitely take a look at our complete DJ course. So this is from Don. A lot of you, of course, talking about the Grimes kind of mess up at the weekend. Do your own track preparation. Yeah, apparently she had someone else preparing her tracks for her. Thanks for that. So Tom says it comes down to a lack of preparation. Yep, agreed, it does. Hello to Phil, who says it's all about the skills. Yeah, I think we'll probably move on from Grimes now, because I think we've kind of got there on that one. Although Jay says I think it's all a publicity stunt. So there's always some conspiracies going down, aren't they? You can't do anything without an associated conspiracy theory nowadays, but thanks for that, Jay. Okay, so what have you got that is not Grimes? What have you got that you need help with? This is from Kesha, who's just saying, oh, it's really good news that Twitch is going to be getting its ducks in a row regarding legality. I'm going to get back on there soon. I miss live streaming. Hello, by the way, Kesha. Nice to have you here. So Christopher says, I had a noise problem. These are problems coming out. These are gig problems coming out. Now we've started talking about the big one. Chris says, I had a noise problem with my speakers at a gig. It taught me to start bringing a power outlet tester to gigs. Yeah, you know, it's difficult to think of everything, isn't it? Let me tell you a real problem I had once at my gig. So I had a DJ controller with, these are called capacitive jog wheels, right? So your jog wheels, I'll rearrange this shot from the hero shot we had at the beginning to one that's a little bit easier for me to talk to you about. So let's get that nice and tightly zoomed in. So the jog wheels, these are called capacitive jog wheels. And capacitive jog wheels, like you find on most DJ controllers, are the ones where when you touch it, nothing mechanical happens, but the DJ controller knows you're touching it, right? So we all know this is nudge and this is scratch, right? This will stop the track playing so we can manipulate it. Now I had a DJ controller with capacitive jog wheels, and my DJ controller, this is years ago this happened, was a Vestax VCI 300. Anyone remember those? And the Vestax VCI 300 was a metal construction DJ controller. Now I had this set up in a beach bar, and we were plugged into it was kind of outdoors but indoors because it had a canopy over it. And I set it up, and the scratch behavior, this behavior where I could be playing a track and I'd go like that and it stops and I can find the cue point and set hot cues and stuff, it wasn't working. The whole jog wheel was nudge. So it made it, even when it was paused, that made it almost impossible to DJ with. And I realized that if I was touching it, this is the absolutely crazy thing, if I was touching it, it wouldn't work. If I put my hand on something metal, my other hand, it would suddenly work. And I thought, there's an earthing problem. This unit has got static or something that's stopping those jog wheels working. It's like 10 minutes before the gig started. And I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Now, around the back of the unit, it had a pin, a little metal pin, because you could plug record decks into it as well. It had a little metal pin. So I put a wire onto the pin. I can't remember if it did. I might have just taped or somehow got the wire attached. I got a wire. I found a wire from somewhere, like literally a piece of cable. Put it onto the unit itself, and I dangled it down the back, literally down the back, and into an open drain with water in the bottom of it. Put the wire down. As soon as the other end of the wire touched the water, which was the equivalent of me touching something metal, it worked. So there was something about the electrics in that venue that meant that that controller couldn't handle it. It wasn't picking up my finger on the jog wheel. And that, being able to fix that, just came from experience. You can't buy that kind of experience. It just came from many, many decades at that point of DJing and seeing all kinds of problems and having a sixth sense that this was, you know, I diagnosed it by the whole metal thing. That comes under gear, our first of our 5 big areas of DJing that we teach. It's the techie stuff, the geeky stuff, the nerdy stuff. There's nothing to do with techniques or creativity or anything. It's literally electrics and, you know, but you need to know this stuff. Anyway, I'm glad that you worked that one out, Christopher. But we learn this stuff by experience, don't we? So yeah, I didn't have to DJ the whole set with my hand on, you know, whatever it was behind me that was metal. I got away with it. Right, okay, so what questions can I help you with, people? This is from You Don't Like My Music. He said, I would love those speakers that you're giving away, but I live in a condo. They would just collect dust unless you get more gigs. Phil says, Mixmag have had 3 years to get live streaming right, and they haven't. They never got it right, and they still haven't. No Alexa skill, no more development, no smart devices, and also you pay to listen, I think, nowadays with Mixcloud as well, past a certain amount. So yeah, I mean, we were rooting for Mixcloud. We like doing things legally. We like doing things properly here at Digital DJ Tips. And we told them what was wrong with it. We told them at the time what was wrong with it. We were telling you lot to use it in lockdown, but nothing's changed. And I've got to the point now where I think Twitch is where it's at. If you can't beat them, join them. So we're going to be definitely teaching live streaming on Twitch above everything else. I mean, I hope Mixcloud get it together. They're a British company. Always like to support the Brits, but nothing's changed over so many years there, which is a shame because they are a good platform. Anyway, this is from DJ Mike, who gives us another view on this Twitch Mixcloud live streaming thing. Nothing new came out of that interview for me with the CEO of Twitch. We knew that Twitch was paying the labels anyway. We also knew that Amazon was annoyed. Amazon owns Twitch, by the way, with paying for Twitch. As far as I'm concerned, Mixcloud needs a new ad agency in order to get viewers. I don't know, it's a bit more than that, I think. It's the difference between a social network and a place to store your DJ mixes, I think. This is a question from Statement NYC. Any word on Pioneer DJ taking over Serato? No, it's gone quiet because In Music are challenging them. In Music is the company that owns Den and DJ, Newmark, Rain, are challenging Pioneer DJ or Alpha Theta, wanting to take over Serato. They're saying it's a little bit monopolistic, and they try to get us involved in it. I mean, neither of those companies tried to get us involved in it, but the Monopolies and Mergers Commission got in touch with me and said, we want your evidence on this. I'm like, no, I know them all too well. You sort it out among yourselves. But yeah, no, we've got no more news on that. Anyway, let's carry on with your questions live. Just joined us, by the way, Phil here in the studio with another Thursday Q&A live. We're talking about all kinds of things. We're talking about the Grimes mess up at Coachella. We're talking about Twitch apparently about to go utterly, completely legal with its live streaming for DJs, which would be nice. We're talking about DJ mishaps in general and getting over them. People are sharing their mishaps, so please keep doing that. And also, if you'd like to win the Pioneer DJ Wave 8 speakers, which are actually just above me here, just out of camera shot. I've stuck them on the top of our shelving here. We've got a pair of them to give away. They're behind me. If you'd like to win a pair of Pioneer DJ, or rather Alpha Theta, I'm gonna have to learn to get that right, aren't I? We've got a pair to give away. Go to djtips.co/win and you'll see this page here. Put your email address in and you could win $1,800 worth of pretty cool wireless speakers. So that's what we've been talking about. Let's now carry on with your questions. I don't like the fact that Grimes threw the other person under the bus for the work she was supposed to do, says Floyd. Yeah, maybe. So Jason says, with the up and coming changes in Tidal's DJ side of things, it appears that virtual DJ is getting an offline locker. Is this something that's likely to come to other platforms like Recordbox and Serato? Right, so let's give people the backstory here. So this is about music streaming services plugged into DJ software. Normally software, although they are plugged into Den and DJ and Newmark mix stream equipment as well. So that equipment you can DJ from Tidal and SoundCloud and Beatport and BeatSource and Amazon on some of it without even having to have a laptop involved at all. It's great. You can DJ Wi-Fi with just a DJ unit over the ether. It's wonderful. Anyway, so yeah, Tidal's the kind of biggest mainstream streaming services because you haven't got Apple Music or Spotify available on these systems. I guess Amazon is starting to come into some of them now, which is also very big. So Tidal is kind of the mainstream take on this. And Tidal have took away stems. So you couldn't use the stems controls on your DJ controller if you were using streaming music. Now it's come back along with other things. I've not had a chance to look properly into what they've added, but one of them I know is an offline locker. So an offline locker is quite clever. What that means is that you can subscribe to a streaming service, you can build playlists, and when you want to go and DJ, you can click take offline, and it will take your playlists as if you owned the music, put them in your computer, and you can DJ with them. You can't then like take them off and send them to people and treat them like your own music, because it'll only work in the DJ software. But it means you don't need the internet when you're actually DJing. So it's a big deal, because that means that you can use a streaming service, lean on it a little bit more for your DJing. Now, we never advocate doing that for all your DJing. We still say you should own your music. However, it's always good to have these features. And Virtual DJ has got it, or it's coming anyway. And yes, I'm pretty sure it will come to the other platforms as well, because it will be something that Tidal are offering to all of them, and they won't want to fall behind. So that's really good news, isn't it? Jay says, I hope there will be an audio version, an audiobook version of edition 2 of Rock the Dance Floor. There will indeed. I'll be heading off to London, which sounds glamorous, but it isn't. I sit in a small, sweaty pod about this big with foam around my head and a very expensive microphone for about 2 days reading every single word of this. But there is an audiobook version already of the old one. It's on Audible and Apple Books and stuff like that. And there will be one of the new one as well. So yeah, that's coming. Jay says, get Grimes to read it. No, let's stop. Let's get off Grimes's case now. She's done that. Let's see what else you're asking that I can help you with. Unsurprisingly, lots of you talking about what we've talked about so far, but I'm looking for something new. And here I found something. Christopher on Facebook. I've just moved into a new apartment. What speakers do you recommend? I want wireless ones, so I can put one in the living room and one on the balcony. I will use Bluetooth transmitter to go from my mixer to the speakers. Also, my TV will connect to the speaker system as well, sort of like a Sonos. Right, Christopher, you cannot do that for DJing. There is no multi-room speaker system that can work for DJing that has got a low enough latency to allow you to do that. So it's a non-starter. I remember I use that kind of system at my home, and I was very excited when I bought a speaker for it with a line-in socket, because I thought, oh great, I can plug my DJ gear in. Doesn't work. There's still a delay. You cannot do it that way. You need a speaker system that's wired for your DJ gear, unless you use, there's one system I know that's suitable for home, which is actually in that article I was just showing you on Digital DJ Tips, but I can show you again now. It's this one. They're about $700 or $800 for a pair of these speakers. They sound amazing, by the way. They are the III Unit 4 speakers. Now, these are pretty interesting because, as you can see, they're quite small. They sound really good. You can set them up in all kinds of ways. So, for instance, you could put them on a desk like this. Let's zoom that camera out again so you can see. You can put them on a desk like this and have them kind of with wedge monitors almost pointing up at you. A pair of them. I've got the other one here behind me. So that's quite good. They can be used there. They can be used like vertically as well, like in that way as well. A pair of them like that. The reason that they're nice wedged is that they're pointing up at you, whereas here they're pointing at my tummy. And they also even have a hole on the bottom. You see that? So you can screw them into a stand, and they are good enough with that grill. That grill is magnetic. They are good enough to be used, only obviously for a tiny party, but you could have a party of 10 or 15 people, or outdoors by a swimming pool or something. They'll work. You can put them on a stand. But what's really good about them is they are wireless. Now, they're wireless in 2 ways. So yes, you can wire them. They've got sockets on the back, and there'll be no latency when you plug into the sockets on the back. So you can do that. But they're wireless in 2 ways. One, they're Bluetooth. So you can just, from your phone, you know, podcasts, Spotify, whatever, you can just Bluetooth into them. Yes, there'll be latency, but who cares? They're also wireless with very low latency, like 15 milliseconds or something, and you can easily DJ with that kind of latency. The way they do that is that they come with one of these. It looks like this. It's a little transmitter. Let's get a closer look at that. It's a little transmitter, and it plugs into your laptop. So you plug it into here, and then any music software you've got running on your laptop, it transmits to the speakers, bang, no latency or very low latency, so you can DJ with it. So the setup that we've tested with this that works really well is you have your gear set up like I've got it set up here. So you have your laptop and your controller. You plug this into your laptop and you tell your DJ software to use your laptop as output. And so this will then transmit the main output to the speakers. Meanwhile, you can plug your headphones into the DJ controller like normal and they work like normal. So now you've got a zero latency or very low latency setup with no wires going from your speakers. So you could then put one of those speakers out on the balcony, the other speaker in your living room. You could set your DJ software to mono, and now you've got music in 2 rooms and you're DJing with zero latency. So that's one way around it. It's the only way I know around that, to be honest. So if it was me, I'd definitely be experimenting with that because I love that kind of setup. They are my current favorite kind of all-round speaker, those Unit 4s from III. I think they're really, really good. We would all fall down if they didn't sound good, but they do. They sound really nice. So I'm very much into them. This is from, I can't see the person, but I saw the question. What do you think of Amapiano? I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I love it. What a lovely genre. It reminds me of the kind of Kygo stuff from 10 years ago. I'm a sucker for all that soft house, I've got to say. So Christopher, we've answered your question. This one is from Colin, who says, I'm relatively new to DJing. I'm kind of self-taught. Stupid question, but when mixing, introduce the highs first, then the mids and then the lows. Is this right? I've been told to do it the other way around, which seems counterintuitive. Nothing that you just said is necessarily wrong, and nothing you just said is necessarily right, because it depends on what tracks you're playing. What you have to do when you're mixing is say to yourself, okay, I've got 2 tracks playing here. Whoa, we zoomed out again there, aren't we? I've got 2 tracks playing here. What is going on in each of them? So you use your headphones and your cue button to put into your headphones each of your tracks one by one and say, what's going on in this one? What's going on in this one? You don't normally want 2 kick drums because there's no point. So you're going to have 1 kick drum and then you're going to switch over to the other one when it's time. That's one way of doing it. If the mid-range, which is where the vocals live, is where the main riffs live, the melodies, the pianos, and so on. If there's stuff going on both tracks, then you're probably only going to want one of them on. But if there's nothing on one of the tracks in that area, if it's just a kick drum and some hi-hats, then who cares where that's set? Now the highs are the top end, all that kind of stuff. Again, if one track's only a kick drum and a bass line, then it doesn't matter where that's set. It could be anywhere. So it's about listening to what is going on in the track and deciding how much of each you want in the main mix. And there's no right way of doing it. So how the hell are you meant to know as a beginner? There's one very simple trick. One very simple trick to learn quickly what to do in that circumstance as a beginner. And that is simply to record everything you do in your practice sessions. Get into your DJ software, hit the record button at the beginning of your practice session, and at the end of your practice session, hit stop, and then go back, not immediately, but the next day, find the bits where you are actually in the zone, mixing, doing stuff, and then listen to them. And see what worked and what didn't, and figure out why it worked and why it didn't. And then you'll learn very quickly, because the only person in the world who can't hear your DJing the way it really is you. Everyone else knows. Everyone else is just listening, right? They know a good mix. They know a bad mix. You don't, because you're in the middle of it. And you might think, oh, that worked really well. But when you listen back, when I was playing my first ever club nights, I'll never forget it, was the days of cassette tapes. We had a cassette tape player under the decks. And everyone arrived, we were playing the music quite low, and then we turned, most people were there, we turned all the music up, turned the lights down, and we played our first big record and pressed record on the cassette deck underneath the desk. And we recorded the whole night. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I mean, you imagine playing your first ever club night. I've got goosebumps talking about it now. It was brilliant. Until we got back and listened to those tapes. And all I can say is I'm glad we had a sense of humour, because what a mess those mixes were. But listening to that set of tapes afterwards taught me so much. And that's when I realised that you have to record your work and listen back to it. It's the easiest way to learn this stuff. And so there's my tip for you. Record it, and don't let someone say, oh yeah, no, you should always do this and you should always do that. No, you shouldn't. There's no right and wrong way. Quite often, the best way to mix 2 songs, quite literally, is to stop one and start the other. So look, does that mean you should do that for every mix? Hell no. Does that mean that's often the best way of doing it? It damn well does. So look, it depends upon the mix, and it depends upon the songs, it depends upon the time of night, it depends upon who's in front of you, it depends upon what you're trying to do. And the bottom line is, unless you are someone who's done 10,000 hours of this, then you don't know for sure the right way of doing things. And so shortcut that by listening back to yourself. That's the only way of getting better. Or the only way of getting better quickly. So this is from Colin. I'm just coming back to mobile and wedding DJing after 10 years off. The biggest difference I've noticed is quick mixing. What are your thoughts on quick mixing? This is another great one. Should you quick mix? Should you not quick mix? Should you play 90 seconds, verse, chorus, out, breakdown, drop, out? Or should you play the whole song? And the answer is it depends. It depends upon the time of night. It depends upon the energy level. It depends upon the audience, the age of the audience, the genre, the club you're playing in. It now exists as a way of DJing that it didn't before. And the reason it now exists as a way of DJing when it didn't before is in the old days, we were all DJing on turntables, and you cannot quick mix on turntables unless you're an absolute genius. And I can count on one hand the number of people in the world who are. Apart from that, it was something that you just didn't do. Now you've got the cue button, you've got loops, you've got Serato flip, you've got stems, you've got instant loading of every track in your collection, you've got instant key matching, you've got instant beat matching. Of course you can quick mix. It's brilliant, and anyone can do it, and that's really, really exciting. And audiences in today's swiping TikTok world have got very, very low attention spans. And so for certain audiences at certain times, it is absolutely the way you should DJ. Is it for everyone all the time? Well, would you want to listen to that all the time? Answer the question. Look at your audiences. Make your decision. It's now another way of DJing. And a nice way of looking at quick mixing, I've always thought, is that imagine a graph, right? So you've got your axes like this. In fact, I'm going to do something I've never done before. Always a first. I'm running over to the other side of the studio. I'm going to actually do this for you. I'm going to show you this. Let's get rid of that DJ controller. And let's do some live teaching about quick mixing and about the difference between energy level and how long you leave a track playing for, because there's a real correlation between these two things. So let me show you. Here, I have a piece of paper. Look at this. So here's the thing. Here we have length of time that you play a song for, right? So we'll call that time. Here we have energy level. We'll call that E for energy, right? So here's the thing. The less time you play a track for, so this is kind of like 30 seconds. Whoa, go away. Go away. Grimes moment. This is 30 seconds. This is 60 seconds. This is 90. It's 2 minutes, etc. The longer you play a track for, the lower the energy level in the room generally. So if you're playing a peak time set and you want the energy levels to be really high, it makes sense to play less of a track. Maybe 30 seconds is a bit extreme, but you know what I mean. So you're probably going to be looking to play, here. So the energy level is kept quite high. Now, if you are playing a warm-up, here's 3 minutes, then look, you don't want the energy level high in a warm-up. You want the energy level down here because you're slowly warming people up. This is what you want to be going on with the energy level. So as the energy level rises, quite often you find the length of time a track is played for goes down, right? So where are you playing? Is it early in the night? Is it peak time? This is going to help you decide whether you quick mix or not. Also, as a mobile and wedding DJ, which is part of your question, a lot of it is down to the type of wedding, the type of format, because I know in the States, the way weddings work is very different to the way they work in the UK, for instance. In the UK, you tend to have a wedding, then you have everyone eats. They call it the wedding breakfast, even though it's at 4 in the afternoon. Go figure. And then everyone kind of like recovers, has a couple more drinks, it gets dark, and then the DJ starts playing for the whole night. 4 or 5 hours. At the beginning, you got the kids skidding across the dance floor on their posh trousers and ruining them. And you've got the old people, by old people I mean me, dancing and having fun and reminiscing. And then as it goes on, the oldies go to bed and the younger people come out, and the music gets more and more and more current. And guess what? That's when the quick mixing will start. But the hours before that, totally different, right? The DJ gets 5 hours to really build up to that crescendo hour at the end. In the States, 45 minutes at the end of the wedding, right? You've got to cram everything in there. And so certainly East Coast in my experience. So that's going to be a very different kind of DJing, and that's quite often where you're going to be playing literally a greatest hits of this couple's life. And so, yeah, it depends so much on the context. Quick mixing is extremely exciting. We've got courses on it. Go and look at our DJ Angelo course. Go and look at our DJ Jazzy Jeff course. Two very different styles of quick mixing, but neither of those DJs plays more than 60 seconds, 90 seconds of a tune as a rule. But it's not right for everyone. And so thank you for raising that. Great question. DJ Mixomatosis, when's the new book coming out? The beginning of June. Keep an eye on your email inbox. And if you're not in our email list, then get on it. What are you doing? So cool. Dermot talking about Tidal. I'm paying €16 for the family plan. And for now, for me to DJ on Tidal on my iPad, I'm going to be forced to buy an individual plan. Yes, it's not very good. I agree. That is how it is. So apparently Balloon, says Jay, has a multi-room speaker system that does not have a delay. So I need to look into that, don't I? Thank you for that, Jay. Balloon. I'm going to screen grab that comment right here, right now, and it'll be waiting for me on my desktop when I do some tidying up in the morning. So thanks for that, Jay. Right, so Chantel, I've got an event coming up and I need help on connecting my two Electro Voice speakers with my JBL studio monitors as the booth. The room is not massive, so I don't need a sub. What are the correct cables to use? It depends, I don't know those speakers, but the correct cables to use are the ones where on one end they plug into your DJ gear, on the other end they plug into your speakers. Your DJ gear should have a booth output, so you can just plug your studio monitors directly into the booth output. And probably it's going to be XLR to XLR cables, which are kind of the big ones that look like the microphone cables. Don't think I've got one here. In fact, I have got one here. They look like this. Is an XLR to XLR cable. So you're going to want the long versions of these, basically long enough to go from the pro output on the back of your DJ gear to the speakers. But I'm not sure, not knowing those models, I can't tell you for sure. Your local speakers, your nearby speakers will have the classic RCAs, which is just the red and the white ones that come together on a cable, something like that. Right, so this is from Sergio. I've been using Virtual DJ, but I've got my songs stored on Google Drive, in other words, cloud kind of thing. It works very well. It allows you to have all your music in the cloud. And when you add new songs, you don't need to update every laptop. Yes, that's been the way that DJs have always hacked DJ software in the past to do it. But I think the reason you're mentioning Virtual DJ now is they've just made that official. So it really does work multi-laptop. So Virtual DJ has done what Rekordbox did. Rekordbox charges you for it. Virtual DJ doesn't, where you can keep everything in the cloud, your master library really, using Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox, and Virtual DJ will work in the background to keep all that up to date. So cool. I'm glad that's working for you, Sergio. Yeah, it's great that they've done that for free. DJ Mixomatosis, another one from you. I just wondered if anyone else has had issues with headphones and tinnitus. Have you had your ears syringed and did it help or did it make it worse? Having your ears syringed, in my experience, is never a bad thing. I don't think it's something that is particularly looked upon kindly by the medical profession anymore, but I had it done once and it was scary how much it improved my hearing. But that said, I think if you are starting to hear ringing in your ears, it's a massive, massive warning sign, because that's irreversible stuff. So turn your headphones down, turn your booth monitors down, wear in-ear monitors instead, wear musicians' earplugs which turn the audio down but don't make it muffled like the foam ones do. But do something, because you will hurt yourself if you don't, and you'll never get your hearing back. Right, I need to disappear, people. We've overrun here. Thank you very much everyone who has been here today. Thank you for being kind and polite and being nice to each other and to Grimes overall. You look, this is no one wishes bad on anyone in our community, at least. No trolls going on here, and it's always nice to see that in the comments. Thanks everyone. Listen, remember that you can enter that competition to win a pair of speakers, wireless speakers, and very nice ones as well, from Alpha Theta. They are worth $1,800, and to get to the page that you're looking at now, go to djtips.co/win. And with that, I'm out of here. So I will see you on Tuesday for a Tuesday live lesson. If you're a student, make sure that you are in our Student Hub private Facebook group to find out when we next have an intimate session in there together. And remember our podcast as well. If you don't know about our podcast, it is back. We did 40, 50 episodes of our podcast back in lockdown. We stopped, but we're back now. So if you want to find out about that, head to digitaldjtips.com, go to the very bottom of the page and click on podcast. It will take you to this page here where you can subscribe to the podcast and you can listen to all the episodes that we've got there so far in the current series. It's been great being here. It's been great having you. Thank you for joining me. Till next Tuesday then, get good, get out there, make the moments. And from Phil in the Digital DJ Tips studio, bye for now.